We're fighting. And it's primarily because I lost last week in astounding fashion. And I'm 1-3 now, and I don't know what to do in my life. Ugh.
You know, I love beating you. There's only one other person I like beating. In fantasy football, it's Chris, and I have my opportunity this week.
Yeah. Sorry we weren't here last week. It was a rather contentious week in the household. Man and I were going against each other. Couldn't give away state secrets to secure my loss. But we're back. We're back for week 5.
Also, it's there's more to do this year than there was last year.
Oh, yeah.
So
barely.
Yeah.
Okay. So, starting off, we've got peaks of the week coming at you. Man, to start us off, peaks of the week for week 3. We're going to do week 3 and week 4 because we skipped a week on everybody.
We skipped a week, so everybody has to know what the peaks of the week were for week 3. So our high score in peak week 3.
Week 3.
Peak for week 3 is Gregory. Spoiler alert. Gregory also was peak of the week for week 4. High scores, huge, 175.
Yeah, and I was on the receiving end of that. I put up a really nice score in week 3. What did I put up? I put up like 131. That's a decent score. Gregory puts up 176. Like, what am I to do to that?
Well, don't feel like you're all alone in this, because in week 4, Chris also lost after putting up 100. And
it was like 40-some.
Yeah.
Put up a really good score.
So, peak of the week 3, Gregory gets the high score. Worst loss was delivered to Uncle Rob.
Who beat me week 1. How?
Rob lost to Nick by 56 points. Worst player was played by Chris, who had -6 for Washington defense.
That seems to be a trend this year. Worst players are going to defenses, putting up negative points on people, which you normally don't see that. Like in a season, it's like, oh, my defense put up 3. Whatever. In week 3, Chris puts up -6 defense. Week 4, I put up -4 with my defense and got the worst player. So, like, what's going on there?
Yeah, you can do better by not playing a defense, it turns out.
Yeah, like, we joke about that. Like, oh, don't play a defense, you'll do better. It's happening, people.
Yeah, it's happening.
It's happening.
It happened to me. I had a negative week not that long ago.
Maybe I'm not going to play a defense. I don't know.
The outstanding player of week 3 was Josh Allen. Who got 45 points, which is really high for any player, especially even a quarterback.
Yeah.
However, it did not allow Sherry to beat Jenna.
Yeah,
Jenna still snuck out a win on Sherry despite having the highest player.
So Sherry's down 1-3 with myself and the Bagginses. Julie's down 1-3 with us as well. It's a tough year.
Yeah.
And while we're joking about not playing defenses, Buffalo Bills, they put up like 22 points either week 3 or week 4. So, like, I don't know, they're stealing all the points. But outstanding player for week 4 goes to Tyreek Hill, puts up 47.6 points with the Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes had a great day too, but you don't see a wide output on 47 points all that often. So Hill gets it for week 4.
Yeah. So again, I already mentioned it, but Gregory for week 4 got peak of the week, having the highest score, 175.5. So 2 weeks in a row scoring roughly 176 points.
And we're going to take a look at this in a second, but he is actually the highest point scorer in the league now. William had it the first 2 weeks with 170 sums and 160 sums. Gregory's got the next 2 weeks with 170s, and it's rough. We'll take a look at that. But
Gregory started 0-2, but he's coming back with a vengeance.
Hey, we said it here. You're never out of this league, and it's going to come back later on when we talk about league standings. So keep fighting.
So Chris got the worst loss, even though he had a pretty good score, scoring 143, lost by -32. So rough one for Chris. I would like to note that if had Gregory played Anthony in week 4, Anthony would have lost by 89 points.
That's an entire game. You lost an entire game there. Okay, let's get into pick 6 for this upcoming week. Let's see what's going down here.
So we are talking about week 5 now.
So week 5, we'll take a look at myself at 1-3, 11th place. How am I 11th place? Versus,
place?
I mean, it's 11th place right there. Look at that. It says 11. Versus Jenna, the Golden State Squad.
You know what's the best part about this?
No,
Brandon?
I don't know what the best part about this is.
The best part about this is you are likely to lose, and I will not pick you to win this game, leaving you to be 1-4.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good, people. Yeah,
And he was like, remember at the beginning of the season, guys, when Brandon was like, here I am, gonna win this season, gonna keep the trophy at the Botzer household.
You know what?
Because I'm gonna win.
You know what?
1-4.
I'm picking myself for this week. Because you gotta have faith. You gotta have faith. You're not gonna go 1-4 and ruin the season. I'm gonna beat Jenna this week. Some stuff's gonna happen, and I'm gonna beat Jenna. Calling it. Call your shots. The Will Uncle Rob matchup.
I'm gonna go Will. Will's having a strong season. He's also one of the few that are 3-1 right now. 3-1 are me, William, and Jenna.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious of this matchup. If Uncle Rob's got anything going for him here. Let's see. He doesn't. So it's William. William's gonna have this victory here. He's 4-1. He's killing the season. And I picked William to go top 3 at the end of the year.
All right, our next matchup, we got a 1-3 versus a 1-3. So someone's gonna stay in the 1-3 territory, another person's gonna.
Well, someone's gonna cement their spot at the 1-4 territory.
That's what I meant. 1-4.
Possibly with me, but not with me.
You gotta call your shots.
And at the moment, I'm gonna be honest. Julie's team right now looks horrible. Can we investigate this just for a second? And I feel so sorry for Julie.
We really were rooting for you, Julie.
But Sherry and Stu are going to win this, because check this out.
Aaron Rodgers is terrible, in my opinion.
Aaron Rodgers can do... He's either going to be, like, good or just garbage. But look at this.
Kittle's doubtful?
Look at this.
Ooh.
Kittle is doubtful. Kittle might not play. Actually, he's projected 0 points right now.
Mm-hmm.
Sutton is questionable, so he might not put up a game.
Yeah.
Kenyon Drake isn't her starting quarterback here. Her starting quarterback is David Montgomery, who's out for the next 3 or 4 weeks.
And is Gronkowski out or in?
Gronk is out for this week.
She does not have a tight end.
So she doesn't have a tight end. If Kittle's out, which he likely is, and she doesn't have Gronk, she does not have a tight end.
And she previously had 2 of the best tight ends.
She had 2 of the best. Now she doesn't have one. She's playing Kenyon Drake as her backup running back for Brian's favorite team, the Las Vegas Raiders. That's a garbage play. That she's got to do something here, but Kenyon Drake isn't going to cut it.
All right,
her projection's 108.
Julie, I can't vote for you. Sherry, you got this.
The only way Julie wins this is if she makes some crazy plays this week, or the Bills put up 40 points as a defense.
Yeah, we just talked about defenses
And
getting
it's not going to happen.
for negatives.
Okay, so yeah, that's going to Sherry and Stu there. Brian and Ant-Man, this is actually a close matchup here, except Ant-Man made the fatal mistake of, who did he play? He played Chris Carson for Seattle, who didn't actually play. So Ant-Man already has a big goose egg for one of his players. And because of that mismanagement, I think Brian's going to eat this.
I would say that Brian just actively looks at his phone more than Anthony does while playing fantasy. So I'm going to give this to Brian just for sheer attentiveness.
I'm going to give it to Brian for attentiveness too. If Anthony can make one mistake like that, he'll make another one. I feel bad that Brian played Russell Wilson, who went out early in the game. He left in the second with a dislocated finger.
Yeah.
But it's going to be Brian here.
So now that I'm giving up on Julie to be our new champion, I'm going to put all my eggs... Well, I'm going to put half my eggs in the Gregory basket and the other half in the Nick basket. Oh, no, not Nick.
Not Nick. Do not put
basket.
Nick.
The Will basket.
It's between Gregory and Will.
So I'm gonna put my eggs in the Gregory and the Will basket for our 9th new champion. So Gregory, I'm rooting for you. You also are projected well, and then maybe you can show us that you can get 175 points 3 weeks in a row, which would be ridiculous.
Very impressive. I'm also going Gregory this week. He's already played 2 of his players who put up good points here. Stafford's a little under on that game.
Not terrible.
Not terrible though. He's got the better projection, and he's got less minutes left, which means that projection is a little bit more solid. So Nick needs to kind of pull out a bigger player here, so a splash play, get maybe a best player of the week down here to kind of beat Gregory, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Not going to happen.
And then the matchup that Amanda always doesn't enjoy playing, the Amanda.
Chris beats me all the time.
All the time.
In so many years, Chris has beaten me over and over again. I almost never beat Chris.
The number of times you defeat me may be equivalent to the number of times Chris defeats you.
Yeah, so whenever I do beat Chris, I get really excited. I am feeling good about this setup. I've had 2 players go so far. It was Robert Wood's best game so far. I have a strong start, 44 points, projected higher. I'm feeling like this is a good week for me.
And you've got the projection, you've got the thing, but I'm going back to history. Chris wins these games.
Chris always
Chris
beats
wins
me.
these games. That's it.
Chris often beats me
There's
in fantasy.
nothing to do when Chris just wins. So I'm going Chris for this week. After pick 6, let's talk about the league standings here. We just told you who we think is going to win this week. But looking at league standings, We could have had a scenario last week.
Oh, we were really hoping for it.
It would have been awesome.
It would have been so cool. Where the whole league would have been 2-0.
The whole league would have been 2-2. 2-2.
We were looking at it around 340, and actually,
it was a possibility.
It was like definitely probable, but instead we see this haves and have-nots.
Yeah, we've got so instead of everybody being equal at the 2-2 footing,
which we were really hoping for,
we've got 3 people up top with 3-1. Sharknado, Golden State Squad, Commander in Chief. Then you've got a bunch of 2-2s.
Yep.
And then you've got us, the 1-3s, the tough spot to be.
So let's just notice that in this pairing, in this podcast, your leaders, you've got me, 3-1, and we've got my partner, life partner, fantasy football partner, 1-3.
Thank you. That was a kind way to say that I suck. But, as I've been saying this the entire season, we saw Gregory come back from an 0-2 start. Now he's 2-2, and he's in 4th place here. If this week shakes out, I could beat Jenna this week. I could go 2-3. She can go 3-2, and then she's fallen. I've increased. Some of these players here, 2-2, could lose and go 2-3, and I'd be tied with them. So we're still early in the season. The big thing here is that for these 3-1 teams, they can lose this week. If they lose this week, it's not the end of the world. They can have a crazy upset, like, they score 150 points, but, Chris comes out and scores 184 and sets a new league record, and you're just like, okay, whatever. For us at the bottom, these bottom 3 here, you need to win this week.
Brandon, I don't know. Remember we were talking about your chances of winning?
Yeah. Spin you away. Spin you out of the frame. It is very important for these bottom teams to win this week, which for one of them is going to win, right? Because Julie and Sherry and Stu are going against each other. Mm-hmm. But if you lose this week and you're in the bottom and you go 1-4, you're only giving yourself 1 week of buffer. Because remember, you basically need a 6-5 record to make playoffs in this league. So if you go 1-4, then if you get one of those upset weeks where it's like you put up 150 points and they put up 165, that was your last loss you could ever have. You've got to be perfect the rest of the year, which is so hard to do. You might not even make the playoffs.
And what we have seen historically is you don't need to be in the top to win the league. You just need to make playoffs.
You need to make playoffs. Like, you need to do whatever it takes in the next, whatever number of weeks. Like, you are playing to win this week. If you have to sell the farm to win this week, you need to do it.
And don't forget, you can trade. Brian, trying to trade with you right now. You're not paying attention to me. Mm-hmm. Also, you didn't pay attention to Brandon when he tried to trade with you.
Yeah, what's with that Waller trade? What's with that? Look at her up here. She's got Darren Waller now. That's garbage. But so if you're in these bottom teams right here, like myself, look and see can you make a trade? These teams down here, we're willing to sell things to try to win this week out because this week is so important. Okay.
And then next week, there's gonna be a change going on.
And then next week, big change comes. It's bye weeks. Week 6 is bye weeks, so things are going to be shuffling a lot. So this week is even more important for every team, especially the bottom ones, to win out. And just to point at it real quick, because it is kind of interesting, you have the haves and have-nots and everybody in the middle. If you actually look at points for, so I'm ranked 11th right now, but if we just look at points for, you really see the haves and have-not here. We see Gregory and William. Look at these scores. 580, 560. High. That's insane. Jenna next, 533. That's 30 points off from these two. Then you go to Brian at 516. That's a player less than Jenna. And then look at this.
Well, we're all kind of the same. 6 all the way through 7 are all just roll in the top.
It's a 5-point spread.
And then you got Rob, who's scoring 420 points.
Even if you look down to Chris here at 500, a 6-point spread between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players. We've talked about how in this league, it is normally at the end of the season, there's 4 players aiming for that last playoff spot, and it's a points race.
Yep.
So you are playing that points race. Do I play the defense and possibly get negative? Or do I play the defense and score just a few more points? So we're still early enough in the season that it could wind up in a tie for some of these teams. And if you find yourself in the middle, Nick, Amanda, Julie, myself, Chris, you got to fight for points. This is what I don't understand, though. Anthony, 468 points. He's 30 points behind the lower middle. Uncle Rob, 424
Well,
points.
Sherry only has 429, so she's really not doing that much better.
Yeah, but
It is her first time in the league.
Sherry's 1-3. Anthony and Uncle Rob are 2-2. How are they 2-2? How did that happen? They're so far. Those are the crazy
Uncle
upsets.
Rob beat you, didn't he?
He beat me. He beat me week 1.
Are you mad about it?
Yes, I'm very mad about it. There's so much salt in my veins.
Uncle Rob beat me last year.
Lot of sodium
I was really
going on.
mad about it.
But those are the things those upsets can happen. We've talked about them. But you don't want those upsets to happen. If they do happen, you need to ensure that you've got the points. So make sure you're looking at these points. Make sure you're seeing what's going on here. See if you can make some trades. Play those waiver wires and get those points because it is going to be a fight to the finish here.
And for anyone that's a little bit not all that attentive, bye weeks are coming. Make sure you're checking because the last thing you want to do is play a player that has a bye.
Yeah, we're looking at you, Anthony. You'll do something like that.
And Sherry, who we had to teach how to play.
Yes, we taught Sherry how to put in a defense last week.
We were at a wedding, and she called us, and at the wedding, we had her on speakerphone instructing her how to put in a defense. She didn't get negative points, though, so we didn't.
She did not get negative points. She upped her score. So good for that. So be aware, bye weeks are coming. Make sure you're checking the trading things and talking to other people. It's going to be helpful.
Yeah, like if they text you, consider texting back.
And best of luck to everybody because this is a very important week. So, from Dub Streak.
Streak?
Yeah, Dub Streak. I don't know. I'm very streaky this year. It's not going to work well. Okay.
And go Penn State.
Oh, yeah. Go State, 4 o'clock. Woo! Adios, everybody. Take it easy. I can't believe I'm 1-3.